Good morning from the Yarn Closet in Tucson, Arizona. I'm going to do a quick podcast for this week because this week has turned crazy. It's, Alexa, what time is it? It's 7:01 a.m. Part of the reason that it's turned crazy is because that lady told my son that the cat could have influenza and die. Okay, one of the cats, because remember, now we have two cats. We have adopted my mom's. No, I haven't brushed my hair. I look particularly old at the moment. I am sitting on the couch. This pony wall, or half wall, is by our front door. That's the hallway to the kitchen, and then back into the bedrooms and bathroom and laundry room, because our main bathroom has our laundry in it. The yarn closet is, how do I get it to twist that way? Is that what this does? It is. See, the yarn closet is over there. And you have to step up. And then you can also walk through the yarn closet into the kitchen. But right now, I am here. So cool. And using the new tripod. But let me get back to I am Yarn Closet AZ on Instagram. The Yarn Closet blog over on Patreon. You can join for free and download patterns for free in crochet, knit, loom knitting, and what to do with a sock tube if you don't want to make socks. And then on Ravelry, my mom is on as Mawgee Kitty, M-A-W-G-E-E, Kitty. And we're slowly uploading the patterns over there for $1 or $2. It's a cumbersome ordeal for a couple of blind ladies. My mom and I are both legally blind. My mom is going all the way blind, like black. There are a number of people in her family that also happened to, and many other people in her family that went legally blind. So we do talk about the challenges of blindness, and irony of ironies, it's an unseen disability. You can't look at me and tell that my eyes don't work. Although they do look a little funny, and no, I don't really see out of this one. And so sometimes I do this. When I was little, my mom trained me not to by using the pink tape. You have to be of a certain age to understand that. My daughter is going in for her dental surgery tomorrow, so put up all the prayers and love and good wishes, because it's nerve-wracking. And Angel, my son's cat, has been sneezing for about a week, and last night we realized she didn't eat, and then this morning she wasn't interested in eating, and she had just the tiniest bit of green discharge. So I will be calling the vet at about 7:30 this morning and hopefully getting in with her today, because when we asked the lady in the box, the worst case scenario, of course, terrified him. Oh yeah. So he woke me up at about 5 o'clock this morning, terrified because the cat was sneezing. And do you love my cowl? This is a free download over on the Patreon. I actually slept in this last night. It's so soft and squishy because it's a merino from Lion Brand and a little bit of Malabrigos. But when you wash this, because it's superwash in the washer and dryer, it actually fluffs up kind of like a softer acrylic. So sometimes I do sleep in it. Shut up. Can you come here and say hi? Come on up, Magnus, come on up. Magnus, come on. Say hi. Come here, say hi to the people. Give me kisses up here. Give me kisses. Okay, yes, you're 90 pounds sitting on lap dog. Okay, stop. Stop, baby. Taylor is gonna wake Dad up. Shh, do you need to go outside? Do you need to go outside? Okay, we'll take the tripod with us and we'll go and let you outside. Come on. Some of you who've been watching for a while will understand this little debacle. Okay, so really he doesn't actually have to go outside, but can you see the rabbit? We have rabbits that live under the green shed. They've had multiple babies since we've moved in. Do you want to go outside? Okay, so those of you who've been watching know that this is actually what he wants. Magnus, come here. Magnus, are you sitting like a good boy? Oh, you leaving laid down. Wow. He's got me trained. He started that during Vlogmas. Stinker. It's my little electric fire. We actually have one in our regular fireplace too, and it generates heat. I love it. It's my little yarn closet. Someone made a quip the other day about the chair in my yarn closet. I know it's totally dark. Can you see this? Dude, don't criticize my crappy furniture. I'm a knitter. Look at this. It holds my extra needles when I need it to. Judge me, but I like it. I'm trying not to wake up my husband, so I'm trying to deal with Magnus. That's our little rabbit. Go under your house. Go inside. Go all the way inside. Yes, we have to deal with our wild rabbits. We have them trained. We talk to them. So we have, like, at any given time, usually 2 to 4 wild rabbits, 3 dogs, and now 2 cats. The cats that, because of Magnus, tend to live just in the bedrooms in the back of the house. However, late at night, when the kids go to bed and it gets quiet, they do come out into here and the kitchen. And so that's kind of funny. And you're like, how does that work? Well, we have those little dog gates on the kids' bedroom doors. So they're about 18 inches tall, and they've got an opening so that the little dog can get through. And then my poodle, retired guide dog, can jump over. But Magnus is like, dude, I'm 90 pounds and that would hurt my ankles. So he doesn't jump, he just stops. But like I said, 5 a.m. wake up. The cat has got a little bit of discharge. My daughter's going in tomorrow. My son has 2, no, we finished 1. My son has 1 very big research project writing assignment coming up, which means Mom has a research project. Don't judge me. He's got Asperger's, and the immensity of what it takes to do a research paper is overwhelming to him and just kind of short circuits. So then I very much have to be with him and walk him step by step through the stages. And tend to be the one who picks like the resources and stuff. But he does do most of the writing at the end. Like he'll talk me through it and I'll type it up and then we'll banter back and forth about proofing and stuff, you know? And unless you have a kid with Asperger's, don't judge. I don't need that. I'm tired enough as it is. And so that's this week. And then the following week, we move my mom. I do my big Braille month thing at the school on the 31st, but we're also moving my mom on the 31st. So that's going to be fun. It causes me a little bit of stress. Although I've done it a number of years now, it causes me a little bit of stress because we do it differently every year. And this year I have little eye sleep masks that the kids can put on with a little hole in them so they have some idea of how I actually see. Because I see with this eye like looking through a straw. Things are blurry. And then my canes, and I'm going to bring some cones in, and then they can maneuver through a little doodad, or I'll make their friends stand as the doodads and see how that goes. Terrified that they're going to get swatted with a cane. But it's only for a few hours. But it's stressful for me. Trying to do anything when you're a blind person is exhausting, which sometimes I wonder if that isn't why God made this happen to me in my 30s, because it gave me things that make me understand my son. I have anxiety that I didn't used to have before I lost most of my vision in my early 30s. I get exhausted by public events. I get exhausted by trying to do work on the computer, even things I want to do and I know how to do, and it's just exhausting. So I have a lot of compassion for what he goes through, and I just wish that there were better answers for people like him, and more understanding generally, which I also get in the fact that people don't understand me. They don't understand that my vision is a constantly changing thing, with good days and bad days. But once again, this is a knitting podcast, and that was a heck of a lot of stuff. So here's some knitting. This is a free download. Go over to Patreon, TheYarnCloset, and download it, or look for it on Ravelry, the Nice Knit Cowl. And then I've had a number of questions, surprisingly, about my Patreon, because early on I talked about not wanting to be monetized. Okay, I really don't want to be monetized. We send out quarterly gifts of a sock tube, some Braille stitch markers, Growly Bear soap product, which is either foot cream or lip balm or hand balm. And that's a natural product made by a friend of ours here in Mayer, Arizona. And then sometimes we throw in project bags that I might pick up on a D-stash, or the next podcast will have stuff about Maritime Family Fibers in Maine. They just sent me a gift for you guys. It's a couple of their skeins of Tuffy. It is wool nylon mix. It's a wool from Briggs & Little in Canada. They are a small family operation. The husband is a lobster farmer, I believe, and the wife predominantly does the yarn stuff. And it's slightly more rustic because I also got some of their fingering. Sport, but it really is more like fingering. And the Tuffy is quite a bit softer. So we'll talk about that in a little bit more depth in the next podcast. And the really great thing about them, the Tuffy is $7 a skein. The other sport that I got was $7 a skein. So 5 skeins for a sweater is $35. And for me, 5 skeins is more than enough for a sweater, so I'll have extra for, color work or hats. And I did do some swatching, and I did wash and block the swatches, and they have bloomed really nicely, and I did compare it to some other more rustic yarn I have, so I'm going to talk about that in much more detail. But please go check out Maritime Family Fibers in Maine, and yeah, I think that they're going to be a good resource for that economical sweater or item that I'm going to want to make. I am shocked at how much I am wearing my wool sweater, my green wool sweater this year, because winters are getting colder here. We've had like 10 days that it's been 32 or below overnight. People have freezing pipes, they have cracking pools. I live in Tucson. But that's going to be fun. And people have been asking about, well, am I monetizing? Well, first of all, you can't monetize on YouTube until you hit 1,000 subscribers. So people, start subscribing and click the bell if you want to be notified. And give me some likes. So if you do see commercials, that's not of my choice. YouTube just does that sometimes. It has to. Over on Patreon, like I said, you can follow for free, and 98% of the content right now is open to anyone, followers or supporters. And I started Patreon in March. The total amount that I have received since then, so for 2019, has been about $160, $165. We ship internationally and United States. Our average international package is $25 to $35. That's our average. There are some places that have been more expensive. Our average U.S. package is $15 to $20. So, what is that $160 gone to? It's gone to this lovely, and I really do love this, tripod, which I hope will help make podcasting a little bit easier, and it should, I haven't quite figured it out, but it should allow me to do some tutorials and be able to get the camera where I can see it and yet it can see what I'm doing better, because nothing else that we've had has done that. And that tripod was $25. $20 in microphones I've purchased this last year. And that I just did before I even did the Patreon. But then at the end of the year, I had that money sitting there. So I bought the tripod. I used that money for 2 or 3 international packages during the grant a yarn wish to somebody. So it was only shipping costs. Then there were 4 or 5 U.S. packages. And once again, only shipping costs were involved in that. And then I made a small donation to someone in the knitting community who's going through some health challenges and having some health care bills. And I will continue to do that every year at the end of the year with the surplus. And like I have said, any money I get is 1-to-1 back into the podcast, either in equipment or shipping costs for the gifts. So I hope that that's a good accounting, and that I don't know that I will do this every year, but I want you to know starting out that there is some transparency, and that's just shipping. That's not the cost of the yarn. That's not the cost of the materials for the stitch markers, or any of the other additional things that I throw into the gifts. Like sometimes my husband makes some wood stuff. Sometimes there are the project bags, just stuff, people's stuff. Occasionally I'll buy something and not like it, and I'll pass it on. like I bought some 12-inch Chow Goos. Didn't really love them, so I passed them on. And I hope you appreciate that transparency, because I know when I watch podcasts, I appreciate the transparency. And yes, I do want to be a real podcaster. I do want to grow the podcast, have more tutorials, have some virtual knit nights. Oh, that's Sadie. That's Sadie the poodle. Hi, Sadie the poodle. Hi. Come here, baby. Sadie, come here. Say hi. Good girl. Hi. Can you say hi? Yeah. Oh, it's all about the chin. It's all about the chin. Agnes heard someone else getting attention. Oh, knock it off. So virtual knit nights, more tutorials, more time devoted to writing up the patterns and getting those on different things, Ravelry, and the downloads over on Patreon. So I hope you appreciate that transparency, because I know I do. And have a wonderful week. Send us some love tomorrow for Prue and her parents. Look with your heart first, not your eyes.